and welcome to the Knit Girls. This is episode 656. I'm Laura, also known as Lala.
I am Leslie, also known as You Don't Call Me Les. Today is the 13th of July, June.
Not July. July would be so bad.
We have a lot of things to do before then.
We do.
Why do I have one random string? Oh, that was the seaming string. Laura and I both use the she, her pronouns. And, yeah, I don't have a ton this week.
I've been working on one thing. I've been, like, fairly monogamous.
You've gotten so much done on that, too.
See, I feel like I have not, but...
Well, I feel like you have. But I haven't seen it. I mean, I've seen a picture of it.
Yeah.
Do you want to go?
Leslie doesn't hang out with me anymore. It's very sad.
It's been a stressful week, okay?
It's so sad. I will go first. So I am working on Recalibrate by Shayna Lyons Designs. I have those.
Oh, you're on the bottom.
done,
I didn't even know you were that far.
and I'm on the bottom. And
She's
I
I feel like I haven't gotten that far.
this much.
I just finished a whole side.
I don't know. And then I have this extra little bit from the first side. So I think I have enough to get the length that I need. I'm going to compare it to my... This is the only sweater I've knit twice, ever.
Really?
Have you knit?
Like adult sweater. Have you knit the baby vertebrae a lot?
Yeah.
Have I knit
an adult sweater more than once? You've done this one more. No, you've done...
I've knit that one twice.
Twice. And you've done the Andrea Mowry...
Oh, yeah.
Weekender?
Weekender.
Twice.
I've probably done a couple. I think I've done a couple of Oxys as well.
Okay.
So, no, because Gwen did one of them. So I've done one Oxy. You know what has really gotten its money's worth? That bag. Every week, that bag. You should show them, yeah.
My Tom Bin bag.
It's like a shopping bag.
Yeah, it's a Tom Bin shopping bag. All my Tom Bin products get their money's worth.
That is true.
Like, they get used quite a bit. So it's got 2 interior pockets on the sides, like water bottle pockets. And it's just like a $70 shopping bag. It's got a zipper top.
It's very heavy duty. It's got like that ripstop
It's the ripstop nylon. I use it every single week for the most part. And I have for around 6 years. And I carry books, like super heavy amounts of books to school in it. I carry my lunch to school in it. It gets a lot of use.
I do feel like this podcast should be sponsored by Tom Bin because Laura
They have a new bag that I'm like, that would be nice. But instead, I bought a new Hide and Hammer bag, which should be here.
That's true.
Soon
New
as well.
Some really cool stuff.
She does. So, yeah, that's the only thing that I've worked on.
So it's Recalibrate by Shayna Lyons Designs.
Yep, I'm knitting it on size... Hold on. 5s. This one. This is hand spun that I spun myself out of Southern Cross Fiber, who's no longer dying, unfortunately. I love how like it almost perfectly matched up.
It mirrors itself enough.
Yeah.
That it like references the other side. I really like it. I think it's probably one of the most beautiful things you've made.
Oh, thank you. I do love knitting with hand spun too. It's a merino rose fiber, so while my first Recalibrate used 12 ounces. This one is closer to a pound. It's got a nice drape and heft to it. I like the twist that I put in. It wasn't too much twist, I feel like. Sometimes I have a habit of over twisting my hand spun.
I mean, I think that's natural.
But,
happens to everybody.
I think it's a 3-ply too, instead of a 2-ply. So my first Recalibrate was a 2-ply. This is a 3-ply. Oh, one thing that I did differently, and I messed up. What is it with, like, knitters being like, let me show you the point where I messed up?
Yeah.
So, I did a provisional cast on with those barber cords, a la Laura Nelkin, but I didn't think it through, and so I have, like, a row of stockinette in the middle of my
I believe I did that
garter.
on one of mine as well.
And it'll be fine.
It will be.
Not worried about it. It's on both sides. So now it's not a bug, it's a feature.
Yep.
And yeah, one thing that I will say about that barber cord is it does like to come out. So like one of mine is a little wonky because I Yeah, like right there I had to
Pick up a drop stitch.
pick up several drop stitches that had come off the barber cord, and the provisional cast on had come out a little bit.
Oh.
So now I like knot the crap out of that. Like to the point where I had to use a tapestry needle to get it
Tangled.
well, unknotted. But it did work out pretty well as a whole. Is it going to be my go-to provisional cast on? Probably not. I really like Judy's Magic Cast On as a provisional. It's very similar, but yeah. And I just have some ends to weave in, and 3 inches to knit, essentially. And then I'm done. So, but also because now I'm in the round, I'm knitting around and purling around.
Yeah.
So, we'll get there. It is... Do you want to know the analytics for how long it's taking? No, you're going to know anyways.
I don't care, but they probably do.
It is taking me 8 minutes and 15 seconds to go around.
Oof.
On average, you know, knitting is a little bit less, purling is a little bit more.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I probably have around 2 hours worth of work still on it. Maybe a little bit more than that.
Which is convenient because you have a Zoom tonight.
I do.
About 2 hours.
I do. I'm going to spin during it though,
okay.
because I did start spinning for my next sweater.
Okay.
So I still have the Pentapilla pullover on the needles out of a Knit Spin Farm bat. And I'm doing the first, I haven't worked on it since y'all saw it last, but the first like row. So I'm going to pick out the rest of the yarn to go with that, because I have like tons of her bats spun up that will work well together. And then when that sweater is done, then I have another sweater, and I would love to have like at least one of those done pre-SSK. We'll see. This sweater took me, if I finish it today, it will have taken me almost 3 weeks, a little bit less. It would be 3 weeks on Saturday.
But that's like monogamous.
That's monogamous, but also that's plying the yarn.
Yeah, okay.
So I started spinning the yarn back in February, the end of February. So it's been like a long-term spinning project and knitting project. It's not been like even though it seems like it's going fast, it's been like...
Well, the actual knitting of it has been pretty quick.
Yeah. Yeah. Less than 3 weeks for a me-size garment is pretty good out of fingering weight.
It is pretty good.
But it is also knit on size 5s. Most like fingering weight traditional sweaters, this has a pretty loose gauge, are knit for me on size 1s.
Yeah.
1s to 2s. Like my weekender light was knit on size 2s.
Bananas. Bananas. Like, I get that it's your gauge and there's really not a lot you can do about it. That is still bananas.
I'll get there. Yeah, what are you working on? That's it for me.
I came up to a weird spot in the yarn. So I've been working on the R&R hoodie, which is a Tanis Lovely Labelle, I think, pattern. And I got a knot. There we go. So I was knitting the sleeves the last time that you guys saw this, and I'm now...
Oh look, they're steeked and joined
together. Yeah, so the sleeves were steeked and joined. I took a video, if I can remember, I'll put it in here, of like sewing the thread and then cutting, and then I took a very short one of seaming. So it's got all of these little fuzzy ends on the inside. What I'll do when I'm done with the sweater is I'll trim those down, and then I'll get a wide ribbon and tack it down over the seam, and then use sewing thread and like a quilting needle, something very fine, and tack it down so that these little fuzzy ends aren't, constantly rubbing against my skin.
Yeah.
Okay, attempting to record this in the off chance that this goes really well. So I have a video of the process. So this sweater happens to be the R&R hoodie by Tanis Lavelle. And the way the pattern's written is it's all one color. But I decided to stripe it. So, because I needed to use a whole bunch of colors. So these were the colors that I had, minus a bright yellow and this sort of navy blue at the bottom. So it's 5 colors, which means every 2 rows I had to introduce a new skein of yarn. And this was fingering held double. So that means that the inside is a mess. And the reason I did it this way, these are the sleeves. So these are both sleeves in one. And the idea was that I'm going to steek it, which is something that's frequently done for color work, cardigans and things in the round. So I put on the number of stitches for one sleeve here, the number of stitches for another sleeve on the other side, and I separated them with a knit stitch, a purl stitch in the middle, and then another knit stitch. So what I'll do is I'll take this to my machine, my sewing machine, and I'll put the stitch count really low, like 2 millimeters, somewhere in there, and then I'll stitch down. So this is the purl stitch in the middle, and I'll stitch down, let's get a little closer, see if you can see this better. Here we go. So this is the purl stitch. I'll stitch down the center of this line of knit stitches, and I'll do the same on this side. And then once I've secured those stitches so that the yarn's not going to go anywhere, the knit stitch, or the purl stitch, once you flip it around, is that knit stitch. So I can just cut right up the center of that knit stitch. So let's see if that's what happens. Here's hoping, right? All right, move this. Shockingly, I have stuff everywhere. So, move this to my machine. So I've got to do this on 2 sides. One side where I wasn't joining the yarn and the other side where I was. So there's 2 sleeves, one on each side. I'm going to do the easier side first. See how that goes. But I do have to turn on the machine. I'm going to take this off. Don't need that. I've got black thread, that should be fine. You're not going to see any of this anyway, so. Let's take a look. Yeah, so you can sort of see on the peach part, let's get this thing right. Oh, that's not the peach part right there. You can sort of see this black line of stitches. That's from the sewing machine. So that's one side done of one side of one sleeve. So now I have to do the other one. Okay, so I've got my lines of stitching. You can see that, the black thread that goes through the knit stitches on this side. For example, right here. So what I'm going to do is flip this around, and on the reverse side, that purl stitch is a nice straight knit stitch. So I should be able to take my big scary scissors, cut right through, and none of the threads should move. Let's see if that's what happens. So I'm going to leave this yarn here at the top. This is to hold my stitches where I'm going to join it to the body. So right there, I'm just going to pull this out a little bit, tie it off so that it doesn't go anywhere. I'm going to bend this downward a little more. And So I'm going to turn this inside out. And here's the knot I just made. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut. I think I might leave these top 2 stitches alone until I can give them a little extra security. But I'm going to cut right down this line. You know, this will probably be easier to go from the bottom. Looks like I did a wrong stitch there. Oh well. Okay. I'm gonna just cut straight up that line. So you can see I've got some raw edges here. Maybe you can't. You can see I've got some raw edges here, and that's fine. It'll fray out a little bit, but it'll stop right there where the thread is. And if you have a like a non-superwash yarn, it's probably not going to fray like this. Non-superwash yarn, the little hairs on the wool will stick to each other, so it won't come apart quite as easily as this does. But yeah, so I'm just going to keep cutting straight up that line. Move this back a little bit. Yeah, having that purl stitch in the middle is really helpful. And then I get close to the top here, but I'm not going to cut that last stitch just because this peach yarn was what's on the actual, those were the active stitches. And so I'm just going to go in and manually secure the sewing thread around these just to be sure that they're not going to go anywhere. So yeah, I'll cut up to that peach, but not quite through that peach. There we go. So now we've got two, well, a flat piece mostly of sleeve. So I'll have to do the same thing on this other side. This was where I joined the yarn in the round. So I'm going to cut away a bunch of the extra, and then I will come back and do that. But yeah, cutting into my knitting, I am a fearless badass. What can I say? Very hot. Someone on YouTube did point out that the seam is not going to stretch and drape in the same way that the rest of the garment is, and that's true. But I don't care. Like, if that was the trade-off for not having to weave in a million
I don't think you need, like, sleeves
it's
as a
going to be
whole.
at the underside too.
Well, yeah, and sleeves as a whole don't need as much growth and drape as other parts of a garment.
Seam looks pretty good.
It does look very good.
I think it took me half an hour maybe to seam up both sleeves.
That's not bad at all.
So I'm pretty happy with that. Now I'm at the point where I just joined them a couple rows ago. It's very heavy, but it'll get small, like the stitch count will get smaller as
How are we doing on yarn?
Well, I'm on, this is about how much I've got of every color except the peach I ordered a half skein, and the navy I ordered a whole skein from Leading Men Fiber Arts, and Steve and his team are great. It's already been sent to me. I've already wound it.
Oh, wonderful.
So yeah, so once I get to the point where I'm ready to use it, it'll be there. But yeah, I haven't worked a ton on this week. I was really determined to finish Hat, which I'll show in a minute. But the other thing that I've been working on are socks. So this is the last skein of fingering weight.
Speaking of hat and hammer,
I've got, it's this reverse speckle from Spotted Circus. I haven't decided what I'm going to do with it yet. I think I'm going to hold it double and knit a hat, but I'm not entirely sure. Yeah, so this is a hide and hammer bag that Jude got me years ago. And it has like some personalization on the handle, which is really nice. And I took this with me when I went to Wisconsin to the farm, and it was great for traveling on the plane and, you know, just hanging out and knitting, because I can cram everything in here. It's
Leslie loves a good bag that she can cram everything into.
100%. So I've already finished sock number 1. I'm pretty sure this was finished last week, and I think I had started the second one.
Yeah. This
is Lightning Strike by another crafty girl. Guess I was in a green place at SSK. There's a good title, A Green Place. So I'm started the heel flap. Not super interesting, but that's where I am on that. These are going to be for me. I really love the fabric. This is that Targhee base that makes me really happy.
No, it's not.
No, it's not. You're right. This is the 80/20.
Yep. But it's sport weight, so it's thicker.
It is sport weight, yeah. As soon as I said that, I was like, nope, that's too shiny to be Targhee. But the other sport weight that I used was Targhee. That was from Woolens and Nosh. But yes, so I'm knitting these on size 3, 56 stitches, no pattern, just 56 stitches with a heel flap and gusset. Yeah, nothing super special about that. But they will be for me, which is nice. And
so is that green from Spotted Circus your last skein from last year's SSK?
Yes.
Nice.
Well, I've still got a skein of mustache striping. That is truly the last one after this. I had forgotten about it and then found it. So I need to wind it. But this is the Spotted Circus one.
Hunter's got some patterns where it, like, when it comes to like the different color, you do like a different stitch. That could be fun.
Yeah, like something pooling is what it's called, but I forget.
Intentional pooling?
Maybe, yes, something like that. Where like when you come to, if the die is only every 30 inches or something, when you get to that, you do some different stitch, a star stitch or something. I've seen those patterns. And then the thing that I finished that felt like it took forever was this. This is a Musselburgh hat, and this is Yarn Cafe Creations.
It was bonus yarn from SSK because you got it off the Free to Good Home table.
I think so. Or I think the Yarn Cafe lady might have brought it.
Nope, she was not there.
She was not there. Okay, she's coming this year.
Oh, is she?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she's on our vendor wait list if somebody drops out. So, anyway, this is Ocean Mist, and it is a little bit snugger than typical. Like, I knit it at a slightly tighter gauge than I typically do, but it's nice and warm, so.
Yep. Be great for sitting outside with the dogs.
Yeah. I do need to knit like some kind of snug cowl or something. I don't typically wear cowls.
You know who came out with a really good cowl pattern yesterday? There's a new Knitty that came out yesterday. And Shayna's got a super cute like cowl that uses one skein of a DK, and then the other skein can be like hand spun. She used Spin Cycle, but it would also work with like your green. Would be cool for that too.
I'll have to take a look.
Yeah. Then you could use up bonus not SSK yarn.
I mean, is that allowed?
What?
I've already started adding some patterns to my favorites for shopping at SSK. Typically the way that I do shopping at SSK, aside from there will be a couple of impulse, like, oh, this colorway is just for the show. It's gorgeous. I've got to get it. Like,
Geektastic showed teasers online of their colorway for the show.
Is it cool?
Yeah.
I don't like it. Okay. Is it terrible? Tell the people. No, we like the Geektastic girls. They're wonderful women. Amanda and Adora. And where was I going? Oh, so typically when I'm shopping for SSK, I will have picked out 3 or 4 patterns that I specifically want to knit in the next year, and then I'll intentionally buy yarn for those. Maybe not all of a project from one dyer, maybe I'll get it from a couple of different ones, but that's how I try to stay on track, is to, like, I know I want to knit this, and I know I'm going to buy yarn from one of these people or all of these people, so I try to match the two when I can. What else? I don't have any other crafting this week.
I don't either. I have spinning, but I don't have any finished objects. Oh, you have your hat that you just showed.
Were you not listening?
I was. I was listening to your endless saga.
Jesus Christ. You know, there are people who have said, "Are you guys even friends?" Or not?
We're just in it for the fame.
You can tell because we've been doing this like 15 years.
Alright, so
Ooh, that's the spindle spine.
Yeah, I had a lot, and it's been done for like a month, and I keep forgetting to bring it over. But during the months of December and going into a little bit in January, I supported Spindled the Knit Spin Farm Advent Box, which was 24 batlings.
It's like 6 ounces total, right?
Yeah, I think so. And then I plied those on my wheel as a 3-ply. So I kind of matched up colors or just like general ideas, and it's 650 yards.
A hint of holiday colors, but not overly so.
Yeah, I like it.
So I'm into it. I like it.
And so it was all spindle spun and then plied on the wheel. So it's very woolen, and 650 yards. So I'm quite happy with it. I have some other advent boxes. I have Kim Dyes Yarns advent box from last year, which was 12 days that I started spindle spinning, and I need to finish that. I'm gonna do a spindle breakout at SSK because a lot of people like that.
Yeah.
So that'll be super fun. Yeah, I don't know there's a new pattern by Helen of Curious Handmade, and it's basically that Starset Twinkle Twinkle blanket, but in a shawl pattern.
Okay.
And it uses about this much. So I might knit it into that. I'm just a little bit worried about those star stitches disappearing in the 3-ply.
Yeah, because it's a little fuzzier than probably whatever she used.
And woolen. But we'll see. We will see. That is it for me for spinning. Reading, I'm still listening to the Mercy Thompson series by Patricia Briggs. I took a side journey and listened to some Maura Pierce's, and now I'm back on Mercy Thomas. And then Thompson, thank you. I just reread all the Beacon Hill Necromancer series they just switched their name, and it was H.J. Himes, and now it's Shayna Jolie, maybe?
Okay.
I don't know. I can't remember. So they just switched their pen name. But yeah, the new one came out a couple days ago, and so I was rereading the first 6, and now I'm reading the 7th in the series.
Looking up a pattern instruction, sorry. This is not me ignoring you. This is me just trying to remember where I'm supposed to decrease.
I'm used to being ignored by Leslie.
Michael changed our network.
Yeah, I'm not on it anymore.
Like, he switched it from, like, super encryption to mega encryption or whatever. And
he did tech guy stuff.
The new, like, the key to log in is no joke, like 50-something characters. And it's not like a phrase, it's a bunch of random crap.
Yeah, of course.
And I got my phone and my tablet and my Kindle and everything connected, but for some reason the printer doesn't work with it or something, so I can't print my patterns right now.
Leslie does love a printed
I
pattern.
do. I prefer, because I hate having to pull my phone out to look at something.
I was going to have you print and color my spreadsheet. So
you're going to have to bug Michael to make it work.
I will.
Let's see.
Oh, you have a new phone coming today, too.
It's here. I just haven't touched it.
Had time to set it up.
Yeah.
I'm glad it came. So, other random stuff while Leslie's doing that. I'm just going to continue talking. And she'll continue not listening to me, as per norm.
Yep.
So, Leslie got an updated phone because hers is, like, catching fire every 20 minutes.
It's getting really, really hot. Like, it's one of those features that Apple designs into its phone to gently convince you to buy a new one. So
it's also round about that time.
Yeah, I want to say it's almost 3 years since we switched phones, so
we upgraded.
Yeah, so we'll trade this one in, it'll go to somebody else, and I'll get a new one.
SSK is coming up. That is our annual retreat that we run in Nashville, Tennessee on the 17th of July. We have a couple open spots still.
Yeah.
So if you are interested in going, it is linked in our show notes. You can find our show notes on TheKnitGirlls with 3Ls.com. That is happening. Stash Dash is also happening, which is super fun. People are working on a lot of stuff. There's been a lot of gorgeous blankets finished.
Ooh.
And we have some Patreon events coming up. So we have a Patreon that helps pay for all those things that the podcast needs.
Yeah, like
and
the website, the security for the website, the hosting for the website, any computer crap that we need to make this thing do its thing.
The stuff that we do for fail-alongs.
Yeah.
Yeah. All that. So we have 2 fail-alongs coming up, and our every month we do a knit together on the last Sunday of the month. So all those are in our Patreon, and thank you so much to our Patreons for supporting us. Yeah, I don't know. What have you been reading?
I'm still reading 10,000 Stitches, which is sort of a period fantasy. What did you call it? Like the
Ton?
Yeah, like Bridgerton sort of vibes, apparently. I haven't watched Bridgerton, but I do think Nicola Coughlan is beautiful, and anybody that disagrees
I loved
with me
her interview when she did, like, you know that line from Princess Bride where he's like, there's a shortage of perfect breasts in the world.
Mm-hmm.
So she said, you know, it's really hard seeing people with my figure with people with extremely perfect breasts being represented on screen. And I love that quote from her.
Yeah, I really like her a lot. She's very funny.
I loved her in Dairy Girls.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. She was on a Christmas or New Year's Taskmaster. So that was cool a couple years ago. I'll
have to go back and watch that one.
And so I'm reading that. I'm listening to the Fire and Ice series, which is the first of 3 trilogies in a 9-book series. I'm on the 3rd, so the last of the first trilogy, where she goes to the underworld to visit her daddy, who is Lucifer. Well, to avoid him, but, you know. What else?
That's about it.
Yeah, I haven't watched a ton of TV. I am in season 16 of
Grey's Anatomy,
and I'm at that point where I don't care anymore.
But you have 7 more seasons, right?
No, I've got 2 and a little more seasons.
I thought they were on like 24 or something.
No, I think they're starting 20, or they just started 20, maybe. I believe. I could absolutely be wrong. I frequently
This is when I wish there was like an Alexa in your house.
Yeah. I'm glad there is no Alexa. I'm enough of a mess. I don't need Google listening into every second of it. Or Amazon. Whatever.
Yep.
It's all the same. One billionaire or another. What else?
You're wearing a cute tank top.
Oh, yeah. This is Broad Turn, and I think it's by Heidi Kermayer. I believe it is. I knit it a while back out of a worsted weight linen. I think it's
Quince and Company. Yep, it's their linen
It's not
tape.
Sparrow, but it's...
I don't think they're in business anymore,
Oh,
are they?
yeah, I don't think they are. But I think somebody bought the line. Maybe Jimmy Beans.
I have no idea.
Somebody did. But yeah, it's a nice summer piece. I realized earlier that I do not have enough just like light summer pieces to put over a tank top, so...
Ooh, I bought the new Jessie Maid design, which is a cute tank top. So I'm excited to... that is something that I'm going to look for at SSK.
Yeah, I would like to have lighter pieces to wear at SSK, because typically I wear a t-shirt and you know, jeans or capri pants or leggings or something. I would like to be able to wear a knitted garment, but it has to be very light because I am a hot lady. Like, I need ventilation.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, I bet you would like my
rib lace raglan?
Yes, but in like a wool cotton blend. And you know who's doing the wool cotton blend that Jude used to dye now? Is Suburban Stitcher. So
I'll have to take a look. I typically really like her color palette.
Yeah.
She doesn't really dye any colors I don't like.
I just bought some in gray because I'm very fancy.
I mean, that goes without saying.
But also, is there another color besides gray?
Purple. There's purple.
I mean, it says the woman with a lot of colors in her lap, but...
That is true. I've
do definitely
love a red,
expanded on that this year.
It's funny, though, because... And I think we've mentioned this before, like, if there's, I don't know, a dress I like or something and I want to buy it, and the only color I like that it's available in is purple, I'm like, no, I'm not going to do that. That's Laura's color. And that's not Laura being like, you can't wear purple. No. That's just me.
I do like the new dress that Universal Standard just put out.
I like their stuff, but it's always too long for me.
Yeah.
So I am a short lady.
Hey, Leslie and I, if you've never seen us in person, I'm like a foot taller than her.
She also has heterochromia.
My eyes are different color. Yep. You probably can see it quite well today because I'm wearing a blue t-shirt.
Yeah. With
my hair slicked back.
You're very fancy with your ponytail.
I know, instead of a bun today.
Well, I think we're just rambling at this point.
Yep.
So
yeah. If you are one of our Patreons, we will see you Saturday.
Yep.
Maybe this will be up by Saturday.
It will be, because now I can work on this computer from over there.
Oh, look! We're on both computers at the same time. Yep. That's just fancy.
That way I can get this stuff up quicker, hopefully. But, yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
All right, well, you guys have a great weekend, and we will talk to you next week.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.